Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. And with us today, again, because he just keeps putting out important news in the artificial intelligence world, Marshall Gunter, CEO of Datametrex AI, trades in Canada under DM, in the US under DTM XF, and even for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under D4G. The great thing about Datametrex is they have the rare benefit that most small cap companies only dream of. They've got two highly successful independent divisions that are each capable of being company makers all on their own. The first division, which we're going to talk about all today, is their artificial intelligence driven. It's actually gone way beyond social media monitoring into artificial driven technology. Clients, tier one clients, too many to name, but you can throw in there Lotte, the multi-billion-dollar South Korean conglomerate. They've signed a number of contracts today, 950,000, 700,000 over the last couple of months that we're going to talk about today. They've been selected to the final round on a $40 million artificial intelligence contract in Canada. So they're hitting out of the park. And the other side is their COVID-19 test kit distribution model. We're not going to talk too much about that today, but save for the fact that they're generating unbelievable revenue out of that. More than just lip service. For the 6 months ended in the last report, revenue $29.5 million, EBITDA just over $12 million, net income $10.4 million, cash $10 million, $9.9 million. So you can't doubt those numbers. The numbers don't lie. Marshall, welcome back.
Hey George, glad to be here.
Hey, love having you back because we're big believers in artificial intelligence. We've been banging the table on it for the last 4 years. A lot of people 4 years ago thought, why are you banging the table on this? Before we get to some specifics about things that you're doing, what's going on in the world of artificial intelligence and what's going on in your world in terms of just expanding opportunity, notoriety, and all that fun stuff?
Well, overall, as you know, I've been saying all along, AI is doing nothing but expanding, So you asked, in our world, you're seeing more and more of it. It's more in the news. You're seeing more applications of it moving forward. And this is being reflected in our business, George. And I think that, we have proved that over these contracts that we're going to talk about shortly. But as far as Datametrex is concerned, we're seeing the expansion of what we can do with our artificial intelligence technology into other verticals and other platforms. And we're super happy to be executing on these fronts right now. So we're going to talk about medical, so medical applications. We're going to talk about some contracts with Shinhan Financial Group in Korea and Lotte in Korea. And even another one talking about electric vehicles.
Which is something you announced today. I was going to say, where did this come from? But I love the fact, I think the big story there, Marshall, is that you originally started off as artificial intelligence for social media driven analysis and all that, monitoring for big government and all that. But it's amazing how you've entered a lot of different verticals. So before we talk about some of those, let's talk about medical first. We'll kind of get that out of the way. And then go into the wins with Shinhan Financial and so on and so forth. Medical, where are you at? What's the state of the app?
Sure. So the state of the app right now is we're in a private beta. So the apps are being tested both on Android, iOS. So anybody that's been invited to the beta can use the application on their mobile device or their tablet or on the web, etc. We're going to be in this private beta probably for a few months and looking at a larger rollout early next year. That's the state of affairs. But with the medical app, we're happy to say that it's working and it's going to build out, hopefully where we can provide, the best uncompromising healthcare for everybody that can use this. By using the app, you'll be able to, get almost immediate access to medical personnel. And, we can deliver healthcare, whether it's, over a device like a telephone like this, or, even in person. So we'll be able to dispatch, medical personnel to where you are and see you, whether that's in your office, in your house, whatever's most convenient for you. And it's one of the things when we were launching this, one of the core tenets around it that we saw is when you're getting healthcare right now, it's a bit of a compromise. Like you go to the waiting room and you wait while the doctor who is, or, whoever else is waiting to see you is honestly, they're down the hall and they're waiting. And so why do we have this compromise in our healthcare system? How do we solve it? And this is what Medi-Call is. And we're happy to say that using our artificial intelligence systems, we're able to make this work even better, if you can believe it.
Yep. And it's not just in person, but a certified physician can examine a patient over a mobile app.
That's right.
And then if necessary, dispatch to patient's residence or place of work to provide the medical services. But that's a massive efficiency, right? So instead of George going down to the doctor's office, waiting for 2 hours to find out, take 2 hours from call me in the morning, you can get that stuff out of the way, free up doctor spaces, hospital spaces for the people who really need it.
Absolutely. And that is one of the major goals is we want to bring that healthcare to you in the most convenient and, like I said, uncompromising way possible.
Who's the customer at the end of the day? So if all goes well, all the beta testing goes well, who's the target market?
So there's a couple different target markets here. Your first target markets are the people that are on the healthcare systems now. I mean, so if I can't count how many times that I have not chosen to see a healthcare professional because I did not want to say, go sit in the hospital for 12 hours because of some minor ache and pain or something, but I knew somebody needed to attend to this. So I've called my GP and then I've waited for 3 weeks to get my appointment, see my GP, get my prescription, and then get fixed. Now I'm happy to say that, there's no permanent damage done in this, but I'd much rather say have my, have it looked at now as opposed to having to wait 3 weeks. So, that's one target market. And I'm sure all Canadians are kind of familiar with this. The other target markets, and we're going to be announcing more of these, as they come up. But one of the other ones we've identified, especially through COVID, is families. So when they get hit, a lot of times, sometimes you just need to be seen, all at once, right? For instance, we've been flagged several times as a family that we should go get checked out over the course of this pandemic. And then we've had to make several different appointments. In fact, in one time, then my wife had to go to one place and I had to go to another because that's where they sent me. And these were in opposite directions in order to get checked out for COVID. We don't want these types of things, these situations. Again, we're compromising in our healthcare. Why can't we just do this all at once?
Yeah, no one's going to accuse the Canadian medical system of being efficient. That's for sure. God bless it, tries to do a lot of things well, but inefficiency reigns. And most companies, by the way, Marshall, if they're talking about this, be like, yeah. George Calm is going to try and make the health system more efficient. But given the success you guys have had in artificial intelligence, which rings true in your income statement, and partly so that I just read off earlier, people should take this seriously because you don't just throw things at the wall to see if it sticks.
No, we wouldn't have gotten into this if we didn't think it was going to work. And we can use a lot of these AI systems we've developed and apply them in the healthcare space to solve a lot of these problems. And it comes down to not just, things that you're thinking about internally. Of course, we can use things for traditional problems like routing, like getting the right people to the right spots at the right time. But we can also use these systems to, human in the loop assisted diagnoses. One of the things we saw in Vancouver a few months ago was the massive heat wave. Everybody remembers that temperature shot well above the 40s and it overloaded the hospitals. And, the doctors we're working with are working in those hospitals. So they saw this firsthand. And there were tons of misdiagnoses in there because, the staff in Vancouver is not used to dealing with heat stroke. They've never seen it, so they're easily probably 50% of these things weren't diagnosed properly immediately.
That's terrible.
when just, using an AI system or something like that, you can fix that, not completely, but I mean, you can push those numbers up to where it's 90% correct. And that is a huge time saver. So, not doing the
And a
wrong thing for
lifesaver.
24 days, and could be a lifesaver also in
Yeah,
some
lifesaver.
cases.
And you're look,
Absolutely.
and that's the power of artificial intelligence. You're amalgamating data from so many different sources around the world, not just as one hospital, not just as one region, and you're helping diagnoses be even more accurate, just because the artificial intelligence system is more likely to have seen these symptoms or these different metrics in order to help create a correct diagnosis.
That is correct. And again, but we're leveraging more than just AI in this. I just want to be clear, like these are human in the loop systems. So they're not just computers spitting out ticker tape. AI has its limitations, and we know that, but it also has some serious strengths. So when we take the strengths of the artificial intelligence and then we marry that, on the other hand, with highly intelligent, motivated individuals, such as medical staff, then we're able to increase what those two are able to do individually exponentially together. And that right there, that's the true power of the system.
Yeah, that's truly a case of 2 + 2 = 8.
That's right.
Because you're able to help augment each of them to their most optimal, highest and best use. So
that's
can't wait to see that come out. Ballpark is like a few months to be in beta.
We're in, but yeah, it's going to be a few months in beta. We'll be at first of next year. There'll be more definitive dates coming out as we progress. And we plan on sharing more and more information with the public as it becomes material and available.
All right. So that's great, because every company has to have a short tail and a long tail. So that's some medium long tail there. Mm-hmm. Short tail is some great contracts you signed. Shinhan Financial, a $950,000 contract on October 28th for JobMind, and then a $750,000 contract on November the 9th, just the other day. So let's talk about the $950,000 contract first. It's a bigger one. JobMind, what is it? How'd you guys win this?
Okay, so I want to talk about them kind of in conjunction because they're very similar. So what we're seeing here in these two contracts is our ability to take our core functionality and apply it in other areas. So, we talk a lot about, social media discovery, social media monitoring, and, traditional media monitoring things we've done very well at in the past. Well, at the core of all this text is the ability to process what we call unstructured data. Okay. Now that's a technical term. Let me explain it for those who aren't as technically inclined. Structured data, we know. So structured data, we know what it's going to look like. So I'm going to, an example of structured data would be, I'm going to give you a statement, and you're going to tell me I either agree or disagree to, a certain degree, but you only got like 5 choices, strongly agree to strongly disagree. We know that you're going to pick one of those 5. Okay. So we know it's answer 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. There's no answer 6. There's no -1. There's nothing else. It's only 1 to 5. Structured. Okay. Unstructured data, we don't have that luxury. We don't know what's coming at us. So newspaper article, some tweet, some random tweet. We have no idea what the contents of this stuff.
Suddenly a weather event somewhere.
Exactly. But the core of our tech works on unstructured data. Unstructured data is everywhere. And that's what we're seeing in both JobMind and CronMind is the application our applications applied to the unstructured data, both in, say, the banking arena and, in job efficiency. So that's what those two are all about. So what can we do with our tech that allows us to increase the efficiency of, say, banking systems? And that's what JobMind's all about. What can we do there to eliminate, human error, to reduce it? Might not eliminate it, but we're definitely going to reduce it. And by reducing it, we save time, we save money. Same thing with CronMind. We can take that, we can feed that data in, we can find inefficiencies, we can fix them, we can shore them up. And we can, by using these, we can make everybody's, lives more productive and just be generally easier.
And you must be doing a big job there because, these combined, you put these together, these are about $1.7 million in contracts. So they obviously think that you can solve some really big problems. What does that say about your third party validation, Marshall, that you got such a big financial organization? And I would have to think this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just me saying that, but if you deliver what you're expected to deliver here, I'm sure there's going to be so much more, because it's a big institution.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate about what's to come, but we're still following our same strategy there, which is land and expand. And what it says is it's still working. So we're still expanding. In fact, we're moving into new verticals. And over the past year, we had stated we're going to take, the profits and everything else from the COVID business, re-inject it into the core and see what we can do with it. This is what we're doing. So as a group, we're executing on that front. We know that we have a core business that works well with the government, with NATO, with, different agencies in the Canadian, US governments that we've worked with and continue to work with. We know that works. We're going to continue to grow that business. You're seeing that through the different RFPs that we've applied for, the different bids we're in on, the different contracts that are coming through. But we're also seeing what can we do with this tech in other arenas. And that's what, where Medical comes in, CronMine, JobMine, and even Interbee, which we have not talked about yet, but we will talk about shortly.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. And that's a smart thing to do for you guys, right, Marsh? Because AI is just blowing up. It's going to be in every single vertical. It wouldn't make sense for you guys it would have been a tactical error if you just said, okay, we're going to stick to artificial intelligence for social media monitoring and curating and all that kind of stuff. You're expanding it to, your opportunities are literally limitless. So how do you decide which verticals to go after? Or is it just based on which one of your customers, really want your technology bad enough?
Well, we need to decide when we're making decisions around this type of stuff. We have to, keep in mind, the capabilities of the teams at the time, what we can do, where it's going to go going forward. There's a lot of consideration deciding how we want to structure contracts and, what business we want to get in, et cetera, how fast we want to grow it, et cetera, because we could, theoretically, you could spread yourself too thin. Okay.
Sure.
At
absolutely.
this point, yeah. But at this point, I think we're in a pretty good position. We're expanding where we can expand. All right. And we're expanding within the bounds, of what we can handle, meaning we're growing at the clip we should be growing. So we're moving into new verticals, we're adding the staff, and we're doing this to keep up with growth. So the growth's coming in, we're growing, as an organization and as a staff, we're expanding and growing, to meet those demands. And so I'm really happy with that and the position we put ourselves in.
Yeah, it's great. Again, that, here you are, Datametrex, a Canadian AI company, and you have these massive companies overseas that are coming to you and saying, hey, Marshall and team, obviously, help us solve these problems in these different, I think that's amazing. So there's more to come. So I'm sure there's a lot more to come. So we'll keep talking about those. But I want to get to Interbee, which is, where did this come from? All of a sudden I see a headline and talks about applying your skill sets to the electronic vehicle market. And again, a credit to how you guys are so nimble and so powerful. What's going on in the EV market? What are you going to do there?
So Interbee, this is a good one, and we're really happy about this. We've had this one. We've been looking at this for quite some time, and we're, as a group, we're huge believers in the EV market. Like you're seeing around the world, attitudes change. You're seeing, even governments and their requirements are changing. So certain governments are trying to phase out fossil fuel cars within a decade, right? But
well, we just had a massive IPO today. I don't know if you saw that. $110 billion IPO. Another electronic vehicle, an EV company just went IPO today. $110 billion valuation. Unbelievable. So it's real. It's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's coming fast. And so you think about, the oil industry and the gas industry have put together their business plan over the past 125 years or something of this nature. The electronic vehicles are going to overtake that within 2 decades. So you're going to see this type of infrastructure and this type of building come quickly, and it's going to roll out fast. So what we're doing here, it's the exact same thing I just described. Because we're able at our core to work on unstructured text, this stuff is generated everywhere. Like unstructured data is everywhere. It's in your cars, it's in your phones, it's in the street lights.
If there's anywhere
right?
it's unstructured, it's in your car, right?
Yeah.
Left, right, weather, traffic, there's a million different variables all changing, and you don't know when they're going to change.
That's right. And so we're able to take what we've done and even, and apply it in that vertical. So there'll be a lot more details rolling out about Interbe, coming up, as they have not been entirely disclosed, but the decks will be out there. And what we're going to do with those applications in the electronic vehicle market is super exciting. And we're going to be super excited to share that, with the public, and with our investors, as this contract comes into, fruition.
And what's exciting about that is so many companies are trying to use electric vehicles as a tagline into, so George Calm is going to sell widgets into the electric vehicle market, and they're going to be 1 billion vehicles. We're going to make a lot of money. But we know for the most part, they're just talk. But you guys are walking the walk because you've built such a successful artificial intelligence driven company with so many, from government to enterprises around the world, that this is real, right? And it's a great way for investors to to participate in electric vehicles and artificial intelligence in one. And I can't wait for more detail to come out.
Absolutely. So yeah, we are super excited about that.
All right. So Marshall, when can we get more information on Interbe?
So George, I'd love to tell you all about it right now, but unfortunately, I can't do it on this interview because we have signed a few NDAs. And in order to maintain a competitive advantage, we're going to have to keep the technology a bit under wraps. That being said, we're going to be disclosing this as the project materializes. We will be disclosing what it does and more information over the next few months.
Suffice it to say, will it be worth the wait? Because you guys have, it's been worth the wait so far and everything you guys have done. Is this one going to be worth the wait?
This one is absolutely worth the wait. In fact, this is probably one of the most exciting ones I've ever seen. And I'm bursting at the seams to talk about it. But unfortunately, there are, larger market factors involved, i.e., competitive advantage.
And most people, again, would be talking the talk because they're all trying to hop on the electric vehicle buzzword for them in order to create some market activity. But you guys have proven that you guys can walk the walk. So for you to say you're kind of bursting with excitement and want to tell us that makes me think, okay, I can't wait to find out more. And I would have loved to have broken it here on Agoracom. It would have been great, but I get it. And I did press, but I can't wait to, I can't wait to have you back on to talk about that.
Oh, we'll be super happy when we're able to disclose a lot of this.
But in the meantime, I'm going to say it again. This is just another example. And I want to congratulate you and your team. It's amazing how you guys have been able to take your artificial intelligence core technology and just keep applying it to verticals and more verticals. And I never saw, I got to tell you, I never even thought that there might be an electric vehicle. You and I speak a lot off camera about different verticals and what's happening because I'm a big AI fan. I never saw electric vehicles as a market that you guys would be going into. So the fact that you're there speaks volumes about the limitless nature of Datametrex. And I can't wait to hear more. But in the meantime, I'm glad you got us in there. I'm glad that we're in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're super happy to be in the space also and to be, doing more.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting for you, right? I mean, the next 10 years must look like a candy shop for you because it's going to be Christmas every month as far as what's possible, what you'll be able to work on. And that's got to be a great feeling for you and the team.
Yeah, absolutely. The team is pumped. We're ready to go. And we're just going to hit it on all cylinders and execute as usual.
All right. Well, we're going to have you back on as soon as we can to talk about it. As soon as you get the green light from partners or legal or wherever you have to get the green light from, make sure you give us a call so we can talk about that. But in the meantime, congrats, Marshall. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, George. Take care.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Marshall Gunter, CEO of Datametrex AI, trades on the venture under DM for friends of the US. DTM XF, and for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt, D4G. If you're bullish on artificial intelligence and you think that artificial intelligence is going to make a big impact on the economy and the world over the next 10 years, then it behooves you to do your due diligence on Datametrex. 2 ways to do that. Get to the profile on Agoracom, where we got all the big topics laid out for you. And then from there, click over to the Datametrex site, do your deep dive due diligence. Just don't say we didn't tell you so. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.